Welcome to Vialet Studio, where Vialet and her guests share stories of their passions, inspirations, and spiritual journeys. Vialet creates a sacred and fun space for individuals to be able to share information about themselves, their work, and their community. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet. Vialet Rain.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us for Vialet Studio. Today, my guest is Sundara Fawn, and I'm so excited to have her with us today.
Hi, everybody. I am sending everybody light with everything going on. I have really been praying a lot for the world.
Worldwide, it's so needed. So, where are you today? You're always traveling around. So where are you today?
Right now I'm in Illinois. That's where a portion of my family lives. So I have been, and I'm with my mother. So I've been able to help her out, which really, you never know. God works in mysterious ways. Spirit calls you in ways that we just never dream. They always say, how do you make God laugh? You tell him your plan. So I'm in Illinois right now, and I'm very blessed to have to be with my mother and to be able to help out in all the ways. So it's really good.
So how is your work shifted? What are you doing now for work? Because you do such beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm still shipping out orders, and now I'm like when I'm traveling, I kind of like turn off the Etsy, some of the online shops and stuff. And actually, I'll be heading to Colorado in the beginning of October, so I'm excited about that. And I have online courses through Teachable. Thanks to you for recommending them, because it took me years to find a platform that is going to be able to grow with me and work out, where it's not a lot of like hiring the technicians and stuff. So I have been putting together the online courses in spiritual development and training, and it's all about reawakening your soul, which right now we're on course. Our souls are awakening. We have all of us, we have no choice but to surrender to this great spiritual awakening, because our souls are really saying like it's time. Right now is a great opportunity to utilize everything going on and understand and stay open to this incredible awakening we're experiencing.
Yeah, I agree. It's really helping us connect to Mother Earth, and it's helping us to really connect within ourselves. And I really love that. Are you still painting?
A little bit, not as much as I want, but I did get a little painting. I had some commission pieces I did, which is great to paint, but I'm missing that time to just turn everything off and just paint. So I'm thinking about bringing some of my art supplies and doing that in Colorado. I'm going to the hot springs, spending some time at Valley View Hot Springs or Orient Land Trust, and just integrating and just being quiet in silence and painting again.
I love that. Well, you have a beautiful card deck. Share with us tell us about your card deck and how people can utilize it in their life, because I love your beautiful cards.
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, the card deck was created from like 35 years of my own self-exploration. And I tend to always hang out in the extraordinary world. Even as a child, like I've never had any interest in this world up until now. This whole thing that just happened, the lockdown, really made me explore and come out and say, hey, what's going on in that ordinary world? And it's like, oh my gosh. Finding all that out. But yeah, so painting was it is a way for me to just go into that space where there's no time, nothing but just this saturation of love and being in the present moment, which all of us experience when we're doing something we love, whether it's cooking or gardening or writing or, you know, whatever your passion is. So for 35 years, I was painting. It was like self-exploration because I would get guidance into deeper aspects of the spirituality. And I've been studying the yoga, the science of yoga and spirituality for over 30 years. So I just kind of combined all that and was, you know, painting. And I had no idea I was going to come up with a card deck. That I was just, you know, doing the artwork, listening, processing, and writing. And next thing I know, I was guided and was told to come up with the card deck with the artwork. So that's what I did. And I have them right here, actually, the card deck. You could probably see. Ooh, I see magic, abundance. So I just turned all the paintings, you know, and put them in the card deck. And these are universal principles. So each one has a message and a topic. And when you're understanding at a deep level what the universal principle and how to apply it in daily life and seeing this existence in a whole new framework, I guess, like kind of peeling back some of the layers that blind us. Speaking of blinding, welcome to 2020. I mean, this year, 2020 vision, all of this has to do with us seeing clear and taking off some of these areas and veils that have blocked our way of seeing. And I think we're opening up now to seeing from the wisdom of our souls, not just the physical existence. We're moving into a higher dimension of consciousness. So the cards allow you and help you integrate the underlying spiritual principles where you're starting to live your life differently and more calm, more relaxed state of mind, as opposed to fear and anxiety. You know, those are like more an anger, like those are lower vibrations. And especially right now, everything going on in the world, when we understand everything is universally rooted in one consciousness. And wherever we're tuning our radio mind, our consciousness or frequency to, we tend to pick it up. So if you're finding yourself feeling like you're spinning a little bit, or you're dizzy, or you're anxious, you know, look and change what station you're tuning into. Get out in nature, take your shoes off, ground on the earth, do whatever it takes right now to come back to that higher consciousness of the tranquility of the soul. So that's what the cards, you know, help you do. And you could pick one card at a time and understand the universal principles, the scientific laws, or you could use them as a spread. So there's just many ways, you know, just you pick one and understand your message, and then you practice and apply it during the day. And that's how we change. That's where we start transforming. It's, you know, it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know. So it's taking the wisdom, practicing it through the day and whatever circumstances life is bringing us. Practice and play, and then you learn from your mistakes, you grow, you'll get another opportunity, and you'll start seeing your life really transform and shift for the better when you start working on these spiritual levels.
Well, I love some of your teachings when you talk about at the end of the day, reflecting on your day and really looking at what happened and what you would do differently, and how you can shift and change that, because your subconscious doesn't always know what's real and what's not real. And right. I remember one of the classes you saying, we always have second chances to do things differently or to look at things differently. And that's what we have to remember.
Right. Opportunities. You know, it's all opportunities. And the universe is just, you know, the universe doesn't give us anything. We're actually giving it to ourselves by our thoughts. So it's understanding that and taking responsibility for everything happening in your life isn't just happening randomly. It's happening because somehow you're energetically aligned to this energy to help you grow and develop your spiritual muscles. You know, I think that's where karma comes into play, the law of cause and effect. but we don't have to be a slave to that karma either. When we're making right choices, we're making new laws, we're creating consciously.
So I'm sure you have a lot of clients coming to you that are really struggling now in some of this energy. What do you recommend for them if they're really having a hard time in these energies? I know we talked about pulling cards and really connecting to those energies, and you talked about staying grounded. What are some other things that people can do in this environment? Because it's very different. Everything's getting shaken up around us and people are feeling really unstable. How can they feel more comfortable, or what can they do for themselves?
Well, I recommend unplugging from the world, and especially the TV. It's a shame, there's so much propaganda going on, some of the news and stuff like that. It saddens me because my mother doesn't use the computer, so they watch a TV and it's very depressing. Then there's a lot of stuff that's, most of it's not true. It's almost like we're being programmed into staying into this fear mentality. And our souls right now are saying, no, it's time to come out. It's time to unplug from the material world and come into that spirit world. So doing, creative projects, doing something that you absolutely love. Like I said earlier, like whatever that is that takes you out of the fear, the mentality, and watching where that fear level is, because fear will kill us before anything, before any virus will. It destroys us actually. So whatever we can do to get out, and there's lots of tools and tips. Like if you find yourself getting into it, like I teach emotional freedom technique or tapping, EFT, you just learn the meridian points, and next thing you're just tapping to get that energy out, because that is not who we are. I think we're so used to being plugged in, we forget who we are as a soul. The actual energy of the soul is tranquility, which is bliss. So, it's coming back like into nature or whatever you need to do, quiet your mind, because the more that mind is going, the more it's creating your physical existence. So if you got all, just it's paying attention to the thoughts and enjoying the process, not being hard on ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I see, like, I recommend to everybody, it's self-respect. Respect yourself enough to be that curious little child, like I was looking at all this stuff going on, and like, when did people stop thinking we stopped thinking for ourselves? I'm all into like being curious and thinking for yourself and finding answers, because when you look at creation, everything in creation is a cosmic movie. It's like a cosmic motion picture show. Paramahansa Yogananda, my guru, teaches us that. Like, we're all, light and energy and consciousness. So there's this movie going on. So don't get so caught up in the movie. If you find yourself, going down the deep end, bring your consciousness back, tune that radio station again, that consciousness, and know that you contracted to be here right now, and for this great opportunity of a lifetime of exponential quickening of your spiritual development. So all of us, contracted it, and all of us are going through this beautiful spiritual awakening, even though it's causing a lot of friction and tension. That's how things grow. Everything in life needs friction to grow. So we're a part of that life. We are that life. And 5 of my cards are the elementals: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And understanding those 5 elements, you're learning that that's who you are as a bigger whole of the whole cosmic universal energy, connected to source. So you're learning those, and a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pick one of the regular cards, and I always pick an elemental. So I always pick 2 cards every day and work with those energies. Then that could tell me like the supporting energy for the day, the elemental. So anything that you can do to take care of yourself, self-respect, and there's a lot of different stories going on. I have never ever seen so much division that is going on between people. We all have our own stories, you know, through consciousness and how we're perceiving this. And I always recommend, you know, just enjoying listening to the other person talk about their story, no matter how crazy it may seem to them. You know, just listen to their story and embrace what you're learning in your story of what is going on regarding all this energy, you know, right now, this spiritual growth. So just respecting yourself and knowing, you know, taking care of yourself, because I'm hearing over and over again, when people were not aligned to the same story, there's a lot of anger and rage and bullying. It's a bullying, because it's almost like they want to shame you because you changed your story. You know, you're a conspiracy theorist, you know, you shouldn't think that way. What are you? And all of a sudden you're feeling like you're being bullied, is what I'm hearing over and over. And I've experienced it myself. I just realized, like, you know, God bless them, but remove yourself from any energy like that, because they're just at a different level of consciousness. And right now, we all need to stick together with each other, with whatever consciousness we're in. You know, it just makes life so much easier.
Well, I love that perception of the story, right? I love that, using the word the story, because I think it is a story. Everybody has their own story of who they are and their perception of what's happening. And if we just honor each other, we may not agree, and our story may not be the same, but it's okay.
Right.
You know, right? If we can just understand, you know, and be understanding and compassionate with each other, I think that makes the biggest difference, because that's all we're required to do, is love each other. Just love each other. It's a story.
Yeah. See it as a story in a motion picture, like we're watching, and it does seem like that. We're moving into the higher dimension, where I know I'm hearing over and over, and I'm experiencing it too, like you are now in a movie. You know, I mean, things are becoming very surreal when you go into the grocery store and everybody's got masks on and it's labeled one way or whatever it is. All of a sudden you're feeling this, like it's surreal. And wow, we have entered into a higher dimension, and we're experiencing it, you know, on all levels like that. So it's like, well, you tell me about your movie and I'll tell you about mine. You know, other people's movies, but some don't like it, and some are like, wait a second, don't see it like that, and they want to change you back to your old story, your old movie, and you're like, no, why would I want to do that? This is like my spiritual unfoldment. Yeah, it's love. It's love and having compassion for others.
It really is. It really is. Well, I hope when you're in Colorado, you'll stop by and see us. I would love to see you. And I am totally out of your decks, so I need lots of your decks. So if you have room in the car, bring some decks with you, or your travel suitcase. I could use some decks.
I will. I actually completely ran out, so I'm getting more printed in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be the same artwork, but the back covers are going to be a little bit different. You know, I evolved, and now I want the deck to evolve a little bit, so it'll be a whole new series of them.
All right. I love that. Well, put me on the list. I would love to have some of those, and I hope I get to see you in person when you're in the area.
I will. I'll definitely let you know. I'll probably only be in Denver for maybe a day, because then I'm going to head to Crestone.
Awesome. I have a friend down there.
Oh, do you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. I love Crestone. I've been going back for 22 years, and that's where I take my retreats and just turn off from the world.
I've never been down there. I want to go so bad. So I gotta make that a trip. Definitely. Well, I will have Sundara's contact information all the way through this video so you know how to contact her, to reach out, to check out her online classes, her products, her services. She's amazing. I love when I get opportunities to see her. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's my honor, and I love it all the time. Just to feel your energy. Just, gosh, you radiate with joy.
You do as well. Well, next time you're in Denver, check out Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. We hope to see you really soon in our center. Thank you for watching, and check out our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet and how she can help you discover your spiritual gifts, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com and on YouTube at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you really soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Come experience the difference at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.